Here's a scenario. It's 6 a.m. Your alarm goes off, but instead of hitting the gym as planned, you feel inspired to write. Do you follow the schedule or the inspiration? Exploring this daily tension between structure and spontaneity was an idea sparked by Naval Ravikant, who advocates for a life free from schedules, where actions are driven purely by moment-to-moment inspiration. At least this was his position while being interviewed in an episode of Modern Wisdom hosted by Chris Williamson. While Naval's philosophy sounds liberating, there are nuances. Of course there are. This is a common theme in life. Let's get into it. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. Naval's approach, that is, living by inspiration first, initially resonates as authentic self-expression. Yet imagine a life where every decision hinges on whims rather than rational planning. This could result in an existence of chaos, driven by fleeting emotions that lack accountability and foresight. The reality is that our modern world requires strategic thinking. Unlike our hunter-gatherer ancestors who responded to immediate environmental needs, we live in an interconnected system of commitments, relationships, and long-term goals. Attempting to navigate this complexity through pure spontaneity is like trying to build a house by following only your momentary impulses. We've got to keep in mind the foundation matters. It's called the foundation, after all. When you sit down in a calm, content state of mind and thoughtfully plan your commitments, you're exercising your highest cognitive capabilities. Research in behavioral psychology shows we're most empowered to influence our behavior during the planning phase, not in the heat of the moment when emotions run high. Consider your calendar not as a prison, but as a tool you actively create. Yes, the world is full of obligations and preferences you'd sometimes rather avoid, but recognizing that you have the power to choose or not choose those commitments is where true freedom begins. When tomorrow arrives and you face a task chosen by your thoughtful yesterday self, your momentary feelings become less relevant than the intent behind your original decision. I talk about how to use a calendar to design your preferred life in The Best Tool for Realizing Your Goals. True freedom lies in the harmony of rational planning and emotional responsiveness. Here's a practical approach. Plan your non-negotiables. Schedule commitments that align with your highest values and most important goals. These become your foundation. For example, the gym session that maintains your health, the work project that advances your career, the family dinner that strengthens relationships. Build in flex time. Reserve blocks for inspired action. Naval's insight about protecting mental clarity has merit when applied selectively. Perhaps your mornings for creative work or weekend afternoons for whatever captures your interest. These content-free times are important to make connections missed by constant focus on one idea or task. Use the 24-hour rule. When inspiration strikes during scheduled time, ask yourself, will this opportunity still be valuable tomorrow? Often, the answer reveals whether you're responding to genuine insight or momentary restlessness. Finally, keep your word. Remember that commitments made during thoughtful reflection require protection from your future emotional states. Feelings ebb and flow. Deliberate choices depend on integrity. There's an uncomfortable truth in Naval's philosophy that deserves acknowledgement. It's easier to preach spontaneous living when financial security removes most constraints and consequences. Many successful figures, from Wayne Dyer to various personal development gurus, have followed this pattern. They shift from grounded, practical advice toward increasingly speculative positions as fame and wealth insulate them from everyday realities. For the rest of us, the goal isn't to abandon structure, but to craft it intentionally. The freedom to follow inspiration becomes meaningful only when it's balanced with the discipline to honor our commitments and the wisdom to distinguish between genuine insight and mere impulse. Procrastination is often disguised as inspired action when we're faced with tasks that are outside our comfort zone. When the effort required is great, we often find ourselves inspired to move in an easier direction. You can think of the relationship between scheduling and freewheeling as a couple's dance. It's not that one partner is right and the other wrong. It's that one must lead and the other must follow. My position is that in our modern world, scheduling and planning must take the lead. Inspiration must follow that lead. That makes for the most enjoyable dance for both. The structure provides the boundaries within which spontaneity can be expressed to best effect. The goal is designing a life where rational foresight creates space for inspired action, where your calendar serves your values rather than leaving yourself open to the whim of emotions triggered by circumstances. True freedom isn't the absence of all constraints. As Igor Stravinsky put it, begin quote, "Whatever diminishes constraint diminishes strength," end quote. Your true freedom will be found within the constraints that will best serve your highest aims. Take the time to set structures, make plans, and make commitments. It's within that environment that you'll find your best inspiration. That's it for today. Catch you next time.